Okay, we had a strict policy at this forum when we were developing it that if you wanted to present, it had to be live. But like Groucho Marx said, we have policies. If you don't like our policies, we have others. So I made an exception for Jacco Opmeer, who offered to present here and then could not come. So now I'm going to roll a 10-minute video that Jacco recorded a week or so ago on the journey, if you will, of Shell as he's part of Shell Global Solutions for open process automation, which again I think represents some news. And we'll also have one of Jacco's colleagues from Shell on the panel to answer questions. So can you roll that, please?
Hello, everybody. It's good to be with you. Unfortunately, I'm not there live, but I will be presenting to you today the Shell OPAV program and what we're doing. And before I go further, I'll start sharing my slides so you can see what I'm talking about. This. That's better. Excuse me. So I'll talk about the Shell program we have in place. I'm going to talk a bit about myself, give you some history, background, obviously case for action or the way we're going. I'll explain the test program. And I'll talk a little bit about the Collaboration Partners initiative. Then I'll close out, and that should, give you a bit of insight on where we are with Shell. Well, a bit about myself, Jacco Opmeer. Been in business a bit over 30 years, probably a bit longer than that. But I work in Shell Global Solutions on the programs around the strategy programs around our DCS systems and open systems. I'm co-chair of the Automation Forum, the OPAV Automation Forum, together with Don Bertuziak. I also am member of a number of other committees, as you can see here. I'm not going to dwell on too much on this. This is not that important. We're talking about OPAV and Shell. And before we go into the details, I'd like to give you a bit of history. Where was Shell during the OPAV development? In 2017, it was probably something earlier when Mark Bush joined. Mark Bush, who was the first from our company to join OPAV, also co-writer of a number of documents. But that was around the time we joined, early beginnings, but not a founding member, if you will. The intensity of our activities in OPAV increased, focusing on business working group mainly, the ecosystem, development of the ecosystem. And we internally we started talking about a test program around the end of 2019, and we developed the test program in 2020. In 21, we expanded that from a just purely technical scope to a broader scope on how to implement this technology in our internal processes like projects, and maintain phase. How do you do that? Those things were discussed and are now part of our program. We joined the ExxonMobil end user collaboration in 21, I think all this shows Shell's commitment to OPAV. So we're here to stay. We believe in this concept, and we're gonna put our shoulders underneath to make it happen. Our case for action is not that different than you've seen for other companies. Our business environment is changing very rapidly. The systems we have do not allow us to do the things we need to do in this changing world. The incremental changes and improvements are actually one of the pain points we have. And then on top, there is the cost of ownership that is still increasing. The obsolescence problem that's still existing, and the way that new technology could be implemented is is just not fast enough. An example is the struggle bringing virtualization into our current ECS systems. That is a painful process. So where is Shell with the program, and what are our goals? Well, basically, I'm not going to read out all these goals, but you can read them for yourself. But in the end, if you add them all up, excuse me, if you add them all up, then the main goal is to get OPAS accepted as a mainstream solution, and to prove that the openness is really there, to prove that you can add third-party components to a system if they bring additional value without any hurdles. That is really the intent of our program, and this will drive us in the right direction and help us in the right direction, and it will help the ecosystem as well if we get this done. On the right side, you see our stepped program. There were a number of steps before these, and there's probably a few steps behind this as well, but I'm going to talk about that in the program slides. So what is our program? Well, you understand this framework, this architecture, nothing new here. From a Shell perspective, we have two focus points. One is brownfield. And brownfield basically is really focusing on connecting OPAF to existing systems, focusing on gateways, see how we can expand the current systems to the OPAS side, and then move it from there. And then there's the second part, which is the greenfield program, really focusing in on the new technology, interoperability, scalability, modularity. Those are things that are important for us, and they're about a system, basically a greenfield system, a new system, all built around OPAF components, certified components, and that's our second focus. And then the third focus, well, you could guess, and I already flicked on too far, but is combining those two in order to start working together. I mean, we have hybrid systems in the future, and we want to learn about that. So these are the two, and I call them phases, I'm going to show you right now. We have two systems in preparation, or actually the right side is already installed and in place. And if you look very well, you can also see who our system integrator is. That's Yokogawa. We selected Yokogawa for their deep knowledge in this field, and the right system, which is focusing on gateways, brownfield, that's in place. We're now in the phase of putting the left system together. Everything is ordered. The whole system is ready to be built up, and that's where we are right now for phase one. In this phase, we will do testing, obviously, around what the new capabilities are, or potentially what the gaps are. And in the end, what we will do is actually bring those two systems together, which is phase two. And then we will start focusing on the applications which are now running on level 2, level 3 type. Those type of applications, we want to move to the ACP on the OPAS side to see whether we can get the same functionality if we move it over there. And with that functionality, we can also we can also start testing new applications which are easier to implement on an ACP platform than on our current DCS platforms. And by doing that, we can, implement or prove the implementation of new technology is possible on existing systems. And at the same time, we can actually extend life of our existing systems as well, because if you do that, the right side of the system, the existing DCS type systems will continue to go on for some time, because the hardware parts are mostly the least sensitive to obsolescence and those things. So that will give us a bit of a combined view on what the capabilities of OPAF are, and understand where we can where we can learn and things. On top of this program, we also have, excuse me, we have a few field trials with other suppliers ongoing, which are interesting as well, but I'm not showing here. But as you can see, we're really focusing on how we can get OPAS embedded as is today, because we think we need that technology and we need to learn as fast as we can to understand the capabilities and make use of them. Now, we've joined collaboration partners in 21, and obviously that is started by ExxonMobil. Grateful to ExxonMobil for the invite and also happy to be part of that. It's our intention, at least, to utilize this collaboration as much as we can by sharing between the collaboration partners, and the sharing should actually result in growing the ecosystem around OPAS systems. The current drive from end users is more around their own needs. I think what this is about is really about growing the ecosystem and make sure that we get products on market that we all can use. Again, the difference is not in the systems. We all use the same system. So if we now can develop these systems together as a complete ecosystem, makes sense. And this is certainly a strong help in bringing that basic practical knowledge to the group. One last thought I want to give you before I close out, and that is certainly pointed to those who are still guessing whether they want to join OPAF or not, or whether they need open systems or not. One question you have to ask yourself, and someone asked this to me quite some time ago, and they said, what's the risk if you not join OPAF and you're not pursuing use of open systems? What is that risk? And that's where I want to leave it. If you have any questions, I know Bob Whitaker is there in the room with you. He'll answer all the difficult questions. I'm off the hook today. Again, sorry not to be there. I would have loved to be with you, but I'm sure you'll be able to ask all your questions to Bob, and I want to thank you for listening. Thank you.